Today we'll be discussing injuries to the chest, abdomen, and pelvis that are described in Chapter 14 of our book. To begin, it's important to outline the chapter key terms. These include abdomen, which is the middle part of the trunk containing the stomach, liver, intestines, and spleen; chest, which is the upper part of the trunk containing the heart, major blood vessels, and lungs; genitals, which are the external reproductive organs; pelvis, which is the lower part of the trunk containing the intestines, bladder, and internal reproductive organs; rib cage, which is the cage of bones formed by the 12 pairs of ribs, the sternum, and the spine; sternum, and finally the sternum, which is the long flat bone in the middle of the front of the rib cage. It is also called the breastbone. The three types of injuries outlined in this chapter include chest injuries, abdominal injuries, and pelvic injuries.
Chest injuries are the second leading cause of trauma deaths each year in the United States. Injuries to the chest may result from a wide variety of causes, such as motor vehicle accidents, falls, sport mishaps, and other forces. Signals of chest injuries include trouble breathing or no breathing, severe pain at the site of the injury, flushed, pale, ashen, or bluish skin, obvious deformity, coughing up blood, bruising at the site of the injury, or a sucking noise when the person breathes. Rib fractures and puncture wounds are both described as chest injuries. Rib fractures are usually caused by direct force to the chest. To care for the victim, have them rest in a comfortable position, call 911, and take steps to minimize shock. Puncture wounds to the chest range from minor to life-threatening and cause varying degrees of internal or external bleeding. Stab and gunshot wounds are examples of puncture injuries. To care for puncture wounds, call 911, cover the wound with a large occlusive dressing, which is one that does not allow air to pass through it, and take steps to minimize shock.
Let's move on to the abdomen. It is easily injured because it is not surrounded by bones. Like a chest injury, abdominal injuries may be either open or closed. Signals of abdominal injuries include severe abdominal pain, bruising, external bleeding, nausea and vomiting, pale or ashen skin, weakness, thirst, pain, organs protruding from the abdomen, rigid abdominal muscles, and other signals of shock. To care for abdominal injuries, begin by calling 911. Use whatever barriers are available and make sure to not apply direct pressure on protruding organs. Apply a sanitary dressing loosely over the wound and monitor the person's temperature.
Finally, pelvic injuries may include fractures to the pelvic bone and damage to structures within. Signals are the same as those for an abdominal injury. When giving care, always call 911 if you suspect a pelvic injury. Because an injury to the pelvis also can involve injury to the lower spine, it is best not to move the person. Watch for signals of internal bleeding and take steps to minimize shock until EMS personnel take over. In summary, injuries to the chest, abdomen, or pelvis can be serious. Care for any life-threatening conditions and then give additional care needed for specific injuries. Always call 911 as soon as possible. Here is a short clip of a person who experienced an injury to their chest.
KARK4 News at 6 continues.
It's called America's favorite pastime for a reason. During the warmer months, parents and kids flood local fields for a good game of baseball. New at 6 tonight, KARK4's Sydney Hart is live in Little Rock with more on how this popular sport became a matter of life and death. Sydney.
Well, Kim, whether you're playing here in Little Rock like the Yankees and Cardinals behind me or on your own home field, the rules of baseball are the same, but so are the dangers. And while many kids are taught to stay in front of the ball, it can be scary, just as Zachary Probus. A recent hit to the chest almost killed him.
I was playing baseball at practice, and the coach was hitting balls to us, and it hit me in the chest, and it fell down, and I picked it up, threw it to first base, and then I don't remember anything else except waking up.
When he threw it to first base, he collapsed. He wasn't breathing. He was completely blue, and they had to do CPR. He went into cardiac arrest.
And Zach's dad says his son is lucky to be alive. The blow to this all-star's chest triggered sudden heart failure.
They said normally the outcome is fatal.
But Zach is very much alive and looking forward to returning to the field as soon as possible.
It's fun just because you get to learn how to catch balls and throw balls and learn how to hit balls.
Zach hasn't thrown the ball since the accident a few weeks ago until today. He showed off his skills in hopes of hearing one thing and one thing only: from his doctor next week.
I can play baseball again.
As for the rest of the family, they continue to count their blessings and look forward to cheering for their favorite Panther shortstop again in the near future.
Love your kids with everything you have, because you never know when they're going to be taken away from you.